2911. Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, "Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." In the Washington Post online edition, quote, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change," end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
And there you heard it, the verdicts that were announced in the courtroom just shortly ago. Still with me, I have Vinny Politan, lead anchor for Court TV in Fairfax, Virginia. Also, Chanley Painter, who was inside that courtroom. Chanley, I know that we have statements by Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. We're going to get to those in a minute. First of all, I have to ask you your reaction and what it felt like in the courtroom as these verdicts were announced. All right,
Chanley,
Vinny, I
can't
think
hear you right now, but I'll relay the question.
Okay.
What was it like inside the courtroom as this verdict came down?
Yes, okay, let's go inside the courtroom. First of all, let's start before the jury entered. The attorneys entered first. I'm sure you guys could watch it unfold inside the courtroom. They left a spot for Amber Heard at counsel table. The gallery was chatting until that door opened, and Amber Heard was escorted in by her usual deputy, or the bailiff of the courtroom. She sits down, immediately a big smile on her face towards her lawyers, her team that have worked so hard for her. She hugged them, and it was constant chatter between her and Elaine Bredhoff as we sat there and waited for the jury to come in. But it was like a hush in the gallery, like everyone was taking deep breaths. As they waited, I could hear some whispers of a gallery, not quite as full as other days of testimony, but still pretty full of Johnny Depp fans, like a countdown. It was like 3 minutes away, 2 minutes away, 1 minute away before the judge would enter the courtroom. So the door opens, judge enters. Now we have the jury walking in. Now, when the jury walks in, all the attorneys stand up. The gallery is not allowed to stand up when the jury enters, which is unusual from what we see in courtrooms. So, but I was trying to peek around the attorneys, and I didn't notice any of the 7 jurors looking over towards Amber Heard as she stood there at counsel table, or as she sat back down at counsel table. They all looked serious, they all looked solemn, but also confident, especially number 7. This is the first time they enter the courtroom when they hand over the verdict forms before the judge tells them that they need to go back and fill out some of the forms. So when the judge does call the attorneys to the sidebar that first time, I noticed the jurors looking towards the gallery, per usual, taking in who's in the gallery, but still none really looking over towards Amber Heard. And then the judge instructs them to go back and fill out the damages portion of the verdict form. And about 3 or 4 of the jurors nodded their head like they understood, they got it, but especially juror number 7, who I've been calling number 7 in the order that he sits in the box on the front row. He's one of the young men, appears to be white, appears to be in his 20s or his 30s, and he was one, Vinny, I know I told you, his face lit up when the name Kate Moss was called as a witness in this case, but one of those who was so attentive and a note taker, and I thought, then, I think he's the 4person. So they go back out of the room to fill out the rest of the forms, come back in, the verdict is rendered, and it took a while to read this verdict, right? Because it was 6 different statements and findings. So as it unfolded and was read, I was watching the jury, and they didn't have anything on their faces, stoic for the most part. However, I did notice the 4person, juror number 7, before it turned to Amber Heard's side of this case. He kind of lifted his head like a deep breath, but a confident one, like, right, here it comes. And that was the only thing I noticed from the jury the entire time while the verdict was being read in the courtroom. Now, the gallery was holding hands. The Johnny Depp fans, they were holding hands, bracing themselves, and you could tell they were pleased with this outcome.
I have to, I just want to put my head down and my heart would stop, right? Like, if you're one of those people, one of those parties, I just think, whew, your heart, anyone on the jury, Vinny, don't you think they must have just felt like they're waiting, that their heart has stopped, waiting to hear what's next?
Yeah, and the thing with this verdict that made it so different was the fact of the delay. Like, we knew someone had won. Someone had won this case. We just didn't know what the number was or which side had won, which to me added a whole nother level to what happened, Chanley, inside that courtroom. What was that moment like? They're at the bench and then they turn around, the attorneys, and they come back. I mean, this doesn't happen.
Our cameras don't pick up their faces when they turn towards the gallery, so I'm trying to scrutinize their faces. All pleasant
leaving
looks.
The courtroom.
You know, they knew someone at that point had a defamatory finding. We didn't know who.
Right.
So they were both pleasant looks on this side of their faces. So nothing to avert. They knew someone was going to be awarded damages at that point. I did notice a little bit more of pleasantness and smiles, looks towards each other on Depp's side of the courtroom with Camille Vasquez, the young attorney sitting next to her on the left, and of course with Ben Chu as well. He would turn and kind of take in the gallery at times. Not as much from Amber Heard's team.
Yeah.
So let me just say, Amber Heard just left. We just showed her leaving the courthouse. Pretty much a straight, efficient beeline from the courthouse to the truck. That was it. So a perfect time. Chanley, I understand that you may have a statement that's been issued by the team for Amber Heard.
I sure do. Amber Heard's team wasted no time in issuing a statement, and here it is, a statement from Amber Heard. It says, "The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder still that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly." And that is what we have from Heard's team. If they want to speak further, there is a press conference set up right here if they want to exit and say anything else.
All right, and I just have to point out, first of all, that conclusive in the UK, different standards, different case, different person was sued. So I do think there are differences in those two trials, but that was the statement issued by Amber Heard's team. What did Johnny Depp's team have to say following this verdict?
A few minutes later, Johnny Depp's spokesperson also issued a statement about this case. It says, "A statement from Johnny Depp via his spokesperson. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those who closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in a blink of an eye. False, very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me via the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on my life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave me my life back. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owed my children and to all those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world. I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men and women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and in the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent an unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me to share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. Truth never perishes.
All right. Two statements. Vinny, I don't think they're surprising in terms of how it would feel to lose a case of this magnitude. You already pointed out that Amber Heard will owe $8.35 million to Johnny Depp, and for the winner, Johnny Depp, by all arguments, to issue the type of statement he did. What's your reaction, though, to these statements?
Well, I want to reread Amber Heard's statement because she lost. This jury said that she was not abused, okay? Is there anything potentially defamatory in the statement that Amber Heard just released? I mean, I listened to it, I gotta look at it again, but to me, it almost seems a little more defamatory potentially than the op-ed was. And that was worth $10 million. It's interesting. I'm sure it's carefully worded. I hope that her legal team went through it, but a little dangerous. I mean, it's dancing on the line here with that op-ed. You've just lost the defamation case for making a statement kind of like this, and you just made it again. But I do have to take a moment to really read it. But I was listening to it, and it sounded to me like it was on the borderline. And I just hope that Ben Rottenborn and Elaine Bredehoff went through it first. And I can't wait to hear from Johnny Depp's team.
Yeah.
They're coming out?
They're coming out. We just received word that Johnny Depp's team will be coming out here for a presser. Our camera, of course, on standby to take that live when it does happen.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be greeted with this huge crowd.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a home crowd for them. This is going to be a roar that you're going to hear behind us.
And they're expected to start soon. I know we'll be taking a quick break so we can bring that to our viewers live. We're not going to take a break because we don't know when it's going to start. That makes more sense. But let me just say this also. You have to
I hear
wonder.
the noise.
PR
I hear the
team's okay.
noise.
Here we go. Let's go.
Here they come right now. I see Ben Chu.
Hi, everyone. Today's verdict confirms what we have said from the beginning, that the claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence. We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the judge has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Vasquez, have you spoken to Johnny? How is he feeling? How's Johnny feeling?
Will Johnny and Amber ever speak to each other again?
Vasquez, is this the end of the matter? Miss Vasquez, will there be any more legal action?
Is Mr. Donald Depp going to run for office?
Really really short and sweet. You can see they made a statement. Both of the attorneys, Camille Vasquez went first, followed by Benjamin Chu representing Johnny Depp. And you could hear people cry out, where's Johnny? Why isn't Johnny here? What does Johnny think? And it didn't appear as though they answered those questions. Let me turn it back to you, Vinny and Chanley. So we did hear them say that its supported claims are defamatory, unsupported by evidence, that they are grateful that each has a right to have their case heard in court. That's the nature of our system. And of course, their honor in representing Johnny Depp. They didn't say a whole lot, Vinny.
Well, we've got a rock star moment happening right now. I don't know if you can hear me, but behind me, everyone is gathered around Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez. Deputies trying to control it, because you got to control not only the people, you got to control us, the media. Everyone wants a picture, everyone wants a piece of the winning team. Johnny Depp's not here, but his team is, and they are being surrounded. This is lawyers don't get moments like this,
No.
By the way.
I've never seen this. Baby, you've seen this?
No, not for lawyers. I've never seen it to this level, this extent. The moment that we're watching right now, I think we're going to get a camera on it in just a second. We're going to whip it around. A lot of moving pieces right now, but you should be able to see it in a moment. But it is just what is it, a gaggle? Is it a gaggle of media?
It's a gaggle. I mean,
is that what we call it?
And fans. I don't know how they're going to pull away with the crowd around the vehicle like that.
So they're trying to clear them out right now. I feel like we're almost hosting a parade here at this moment, Judge Ashley. It's like a parade moment, right? We're here. It's happening over there. The crowd is going wild. That's what it's like. They're not going to get the Canyon of Heroes necessarily, but it's the closest you get in Fairfax County, Virginia right now, which is what's happening. And we may have a camera on it. If we have it, you should take that shot, but I'm not sure if we have it yet. But an amazing moment.
Right, amazing, incredible moment. These are people who have been here day in and day out. Locals mostly, Vinny. I remember you talking about, the first couple weeks we were here at this case, nobody knew what was happening. And as the weeks progressed throughout the trial, the testimony, it was like a snowball effect. And even though the crowds dwindled maybe inside for wristbands, they showed up every day for arrivals, departures, and even for the lawyers, even when the superstar Johnny Depp is not here in person.
I must disagree with Chanley, though. She said snowball. Avalanche.
Avalanche.
Yep.
Avalanche is what's happening here. This is unreal. But now they've got some control over the crowd. Crowd, they don't respond. When the deputies talk, they listen.
Yes.
But now you've got that moment where one more round of applause, the victorious exit. I can't imagine what they're feeling. You hear the motorcade.
I hear the motorcade. I can
this
hear it
doesn't
behind
happen
you.
to lawyers.
This doesn't happen. I was going to say,
happen to lawyers.
I have worked a very long time for a very good reputation as a trial lawyer, as a judge, and I still get to hear all the jokes about lawyers and what people think of lawyers when they meet us as lawyers. And so the fanfare, you never have that fanfare as a lawyer after a case. And wow is all I can say. I'm amazed. It's staggering the support that they just got from that crowd as they were saying a few words. Unbelievable. This entire trial, really, from my perspective, has been unbelievable. The momentum of the trial, the number of people interested, the outcome of the trial, all of it is I think we could teach a course in law school using just this trial. Chanley, I've got to ask you this. The two statements that came out from Johnny Depp's team as well as Amber Heard's team, do you all think that I want to hear from both of you, do you think they prepared those statements before the verdict ever came back and prepared one for each instance? Because those came out pretty quickly.
Oh, it did. It was really quick. Within minutes of the verdicts being handed down, the statements were issued. So it does make me feel as though they prepared for both sides, both outcomes, whatever it may be, because they were sent so quickly. It would make sense for them to be prepared like that.
Yeah, be prepared. Well, the question is, though, are you prepared for a loss? I mean, I can't see Johnny Depp sitting down and writing a statement about losing this trial before it's over. I can see him writing one about winning.
There were statements so thoughtful. I mean, that was a lot packed into a few paragraphs for both sides. So it did, I think, took time.
And
Absolutely.
did they do it, or did their PR teams do it? Because they both have PR teams. We know that. They could have been the ones writing it. And Vinny, I'm fascinated now, and I hope we can pull up Amber Heard's statement again. Your thought of, wait a minute, did she say anything in that statement that she shouldn't have said? Because again, she's looking at defamation has been proved against her. I mean, that's a big thing if she said things she shouldn't have yet again.
Yeah, I personally, if I'm I stay away from it with a 10-foot pole. I don't mention the substance of any of it, because you look again at that op-ed. It wasn't like classic defamation, like you are a wife beater. That's not what it was. It was much different. Okay, the disappointment I feel today is beyond work. Oh, it's gone.
Let's go
I'm
to the
even more
first one.
disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock when women who spoke up talk about other women good. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. I think that's a safe statement there. That part of it, I think, is safe. Let's see. I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that we won in the UK. That's a little dangerous. That's a little dangerous. Ignore evidence that was so conclusive.
That's what
I'm
stood
sad I lost
out
the
to
case.
me, Vinny. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sadder that I seem to have lost a right I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. That you're probably okay with.
Let's go back to the first screen.
Talking about ignoring evidence.
Yeah, the first screen, though, I think, let's see if we can pull that back up, Vinny, because that's where I thought maybe it stood out to you, that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband, which was really the same
That's dangerous.
content as some of the op-ed, don't you think?
Absolutely. I cannot, as I'm looking at this the second time, I cannot believe they released that statement. Now, it may not be actionable. Johnny Depp may not take action on it, but lawyers, that's the first thing, right? Like, we're worried about it. I mean, if this was run past lawyers, I mean, how could you say that would be okay? That is kind of like the op-ed.
Right.
Yeah.
She just lost that. $10 million.
That's what a case.
Just say nothing.
Yeah. It's a crazy case. So, Chanley, let's turn to the judge then did set, I believe she called it an award hearing on June 24th. And I was thinking about this, and I want you both to weigh in about, am I totally off base? But honestly, that is going to be to issue a letter with the award, and she has to change the punitive amount to meet the statutory amount allowed in Virginia. But theoretically, could these parties decide to settle for a lesser, different amount absent the jury award? Is that anything either of you think is on the table, or not at all? Chanley?
I couldn't hear all the question, Vinny, but is she asking about they awarded, of course, $5 million for punitive, and the judge has to modify that?
The judge has to modify it on the record, but the question is, like, in any civil case, a civil case isn't over until all the appeals are done. So Amber Heard's team can appeal the amount.
Right.
So the question is, do you think these two sides could possibly, after the jury has spoken, get together and say, can we just end this now for a certain amount?
Punitive damages? Oh,
The whole
all of it,
package.
all of it.
Do you think these two sides could sit down in the same room?
No.
No? No?
I think anything's possible, but I think Johnny Depp's going to take it all.
He wants it all. He wants it all. So, and that's the other thing people should know, right? A civil case, the judge can adjust the judgment. She's going to adjust the punitive. She could adjust the compensatory as well. She could reduce that if she wants. Then on appeal, the amount could be reduced. It could be overturned. So a lot of times, like the judge said, rightfully so, the parties will sit down and negotiate and say, listen, let's not go through all this. Let's stop giving money to the lawyers and just settle for an amount. But I don't know if they have it in them. This is so personal, so emotional. I don't know if it happens in this case.
And that's what I love, that you're both there, because of course we're watching and we get all that emotion, but for you all to be there and firsthand be witnessing and seeing and hearing and the smell, taste, feel of a courtroom, as I like to say, I think it's volumes that you two think, nope, they probably aren't going to go there. They might not be able to have that conversation and work it out. Let's watch again together.
It would say something if Johnny Depp was open to it, though.
Right?
Yeah, if Johnny Depp was open to it, that could be, monumental. If he could say, let's just settle this, let's move on. The jury's spoken, everybody knows. Amber, I will take the $8.35 million. We will settle for $2 million, and I will donate it to the Children's Hospital.
That and donate it. But there's been that argument, and it's been put out there that he wanted to be heard.
Not the ACLU. Not to the
Children's
ACLU,
Hospital.
but to the
caught that.
Children's Hospital.
I did catch that, Vinny. I knew you were saying that with purpose because it would be nice, quite frankly, to see monies donated. That's been at the heart of this case, and amounts that were pledged by Amber Heard, she says, and not paid. So wouldn't that be quite the outcome? We want to watch again together the presser of Johnny Depp's team and what they had to say to the crowd just a few minutes ago.
Hi, everyone. Today's verdict confirms what we have said from the beginning, that the claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence. We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the judge has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Vinny Politan, what are your final thoughts listening to that presser?
I can imagine what they're feeling right now, which is the exhaustion that kicks in, right? You've got all this adrenaline throughout the trial, closing arguments, you're at your peak, but then the anticipation of the verdict, then when it comes in, it's over. You are drained from head to toe. Both sides of the case, drained from head to toe. They need some R&R. They need some rest. I know everyone's going to be knocking on their door, calling for them. Everyone wants to hear from them. Everyone wants to speak to them. But I can imagine the level of just being tired and just needing a moment to gather yourself. But they should celebrate the moment. What I said in the beginning, this is an almost impossible mountain to climb in the United States of America, winning a defamation case when you are a public figure. They did it. They did it. And it had to do with Johnny Depp's testimony and incredible lawyering by his team.
And you can only imagine, to your point, the euphoria, and then once that goes away, the exhaustion. It is exhausting to even try a one-day case, much less a 6-week case of this caliber. All right, could you ask Chanley for her final thoughts as well?
Final thought. I can hear you now, Ashley. Finally, thank you so much for bearing with me with the technical difficulties out here. But yes, I echo what Vinny just said. Before this trial began, we were pouring through court documents. I was studying the law, and what an insurmountable burden it was to prove actual malice in this case. This could have gone any way. You don't know what a jury's thinking. And I had my eyes on them every day for hours, hopefully in a non-creepy way. And I was trying to garner what they were thinking, and they didn't give it away. A couple of them may have slipped, but they didn't give it away. A couple of them may have slipped, but they didn't give it away. And to think, you know what Vinny says, it goes to the preparation of the attorneys. Depp's team just really brought it inside that courtroom. You could tell it really, as an attorney, Vinny, was a pleasure to watch other attorneys in action who knew what they were doing. They did their homework, and it showed inside the courtroom.
All right. Thank you so much, Vinny Politan, Chanley Painter. We're going to continue to monitor developments out of Fairfax, Virginia. And up next, we will bring you more coverage and listen to the full verdict and have our legal experts break it down.